if your life is upside down, or you think it is, and you begin to create the condition within you for the furtherance of the imprint that's locked and loaded and coded within your being, you will be turned right side up. And you will grow towards the light of your own understanding of your oneness with the great power and the great presence and the great love of the I am presence within you. The truth about life is the truth about you. Infinite, eternal, absolute, no beginning, no ending, infinite potential. The truth about life is the truth about you, which is why Yeshua ben Joseph, Jesus the Christ, said, I have come that ye may have life and have it more abundantly. He did not come and say, look at me, worship me, simply praise me. He said, I have come that ye may have life and have it more abundantly. I am the example. I am the way shower. I'm showing the way. I've come that you may have life and have it more abundantly. And so as we embrace through our spiritual practices that all of life is pressing upon us right now, that all of life is broadcasting itself through every aspect of creation, and that our spiritual faculties are about being activated through spiritual practice so that we can see the calling of life to be more of itself through each and every one of us, we become privy to major and minor miracles, and there really is no such thing as major and minor miracles. It's just what's needed in the moment for eternity to break into time. Now, I was thinking as I was meditating last night that individuals who have had near-death experiences, I call them near-life experiences, because as they pass over, they become closer to their original life. And they're able to see and check in and notice what pre-incarnational promises they made to themselves before they got here. And they're able to look at their life and see how they're doing, to see if they're on track with what they said they were going to do when they got here. And they're able to, when they come back, they generally have the bear witness to one particular testimony, and that is that they are here, all of us are here to perfect our loving. All of us are here to be instruments of God's love in a very powerful and meaningful way, and that's why we're here, to perfect our loving and to allow for our priority to shift towards not materialism, not to be locked into materialism or even the frequencies of hate or self-righteousness or bigotry or whatever the case may be, but to perfect our loving to such a degree that we become a transparency for God's love. And everyone who has come back from one of those near-life experiences come back very focused on living a meaningful life, living a life that is in concert with what they said to themselves before they got here. Now, the world right now is going through a near-death experience. The fear of death is at an all-time high right now throughout the planet because of virus, because of whatever seems to be calling us to go into fear at this particular moment, which means that the world is going through a near-death experience or near-life experience that's allowing us to check ourselves out so that we can really see if in fact we're on target with what we said we were going to be about before we got here. Are we perfecting our loving? Are we moving into a great space of generosity, creativity, resourcefulness, regeneration of our soul? Are we moving in that direction? Or are we gotten caught into the eddies of fear and doubt and worry and lack and limitation? Are we caught into the eddies of separation with the tributaries of all the things that separation occurs? Now, with this being very close, this near-death experience bringing us closer to life at this moment, there's a radical tension expression, because death is on a lot of people's minds. You go to the news, they tell you how many people died of this, how many people died of that. It's like you're not getting a balanced information as to how to stay healthy, what to eat to stay healthy, how to exercise your body, what to stay healthy. It's just a constant washing hands, put on a mask, and stay away from people, but no information that the holistic doctors are sharing all the time about your vitamin D3 and K2 and all the things that are preventative in nature. And so individuals are living in a narrow band of fear. It's a near-death experience for the world. So it's a shake-up time for us to wake up, you see, and to ask, why am I here? What is my purpose? What promise did I make to myself? And then from a much higher, when you begin to ask a higher question, you begin to see yourself from a very lofty space. You're not caught up in the weeds. You see strawberries. You see your interests. You see what you're praying for and about and where you're praying from. You see differently. And then you can see like this 3, 4, 5-dimensional chessboard of your life. And you can see the characters that are in your life and what they're bringing to you. And you can see those that have betrayed you are basically moving you into forgiveness and to perfect your loving in forgiveness. You can see those that are carrying heavy burdens in this particular life, whether it's some kind of paralysis of the body or some kind of deep situation. You can see that these individuals are inviting you to go into deep compassion, not judgment, deep compassion, as they are working on issues of the soul that's making them stronger at a different level. You see different things. You see from a higher perspective that's going on in the world of phenomena. And then in your own life, you begin to, as the individuals have done when they've crossed over and come back, one of the testimonies of many of these individuals have said that they were caught up in the storyline of their life based on something that had happened to them, and they were living their life narrowly from this storyline of something that happened to them in their childhood, in their teenage life, in their young adults. This thing happened to me, and it colored their whole experience. And when they went across on the other side, they saw that they could extricate themselves from that story, to come back to the original story. In the beginning, God. Come back to the original story. Let there be life and light and beauty and love and intelligence and order and harmony. Let there be. And they come back with so much zest and vitality. And so as we're looking at our life from a higher perspective, we begin to ask the same question that the widow asked the prophet. The widow had lost her husband, had died, and he was a great man. He had a lot of access to prosperity and influence. He died, and she had kids to raise. She didn't know what to do. Now everybody has a "they did it to me" story, or "this thing is happening to me" story. Everybody's got one at some level or another. And she goes to the prophet and says, "This is happening to me. I don't have any money. What's going on?" And the prophet looked at her, and he didn't get into her story. He simply asked her a question. He said, "What do you have in your house? What you got?" And it shook her. Wait a minute. I'm coming here with a story about I don't have no money to feed my kids. And the prophet said, "What you got in your house?" And it got her to thinking. She had an insight. "I got a cruse of oil." He said, "Go pour." And she took that oil and began to pour it. And she began to sell the oil to people. Created some currency in her life. And as the story goes, the oil never ran out. The more she poured, the more she had. Now, this is a prosperity teaching as well. It's also a teaching of mysticism, that from the infinite invisible implicate order. No thing becomes something based on your mind, based on the condition of your awareness, based on your intentionality. And she created enough prosperity to feed her kids, to take care of her life. We have to ask this time, in this particular stage of our development, we have to ask, what's in our house? What do we have? And if we ask such a question during this particular time in human history, rather than who's wrong, who's to blame, look what they did to me, we ask, what do I have in my house? Maya Angelou asked, what did she have? Nelson Mandela asked, what do we have? What's our potential here, you see? Then we will rise up. We will rise. We will rise because our attention won't go to the weeds. Our attention will go to the strawberries. We'll go to the presents. And out of nothing, that's not nothing, it's actually no thing, because what it is in the implicate order is actually an idea. Just as the seed carries an energetic idea of that particular plant, you're going to the idea. Now here's the good news. The idea about you is eternal. What's true about life is true about you. That idea is eternal. And you may have been on a storyline of, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, too many bad things have happened to me. This may be your storyline, but the idea of you hasn't been touched by time. The idea of you is still in the mind, heart of the infinite. Now, the rub is this. Just as the seed has to be in the proper condition for its implicate order to become explicit, you create the condition. No one else can do this for you. People can encourage you, they can inspire you, they can pray for you, they can hold your hand, they can share with you, they can do so much, but eventually you have to create the condition vibrationally for the emergence of the true story that transcends the temporary storyline of lack and limitation and fear and doubt and worry and hate and unforgiveness. And when you become that condition, bam! Bam means bless and multiply. Bam! The invisible becomes visible. The unmanifest becomes manifest. The implicate order becomes explicit. You see it, you taste it, you touch it, but it was in the invisible waiting for you to say yes to yourself. What do you have in your house?